Raytheon has had, or RTX, under our three companies of Collins, Pratt & Whitney, and Raytheon, have had a great history with SENEDIA, as we mentioned, going back 11 years. But ever more today, if you think about what's going on in our environment, the threats around the world, the needs of our own war fighters around the world, the need for venues such as this to drive collaboration and innovation is key. So we give a lot of pleasure to SENEDIA to help bringing all that together. As Tim mentioned, it gives me a great pleasure to introduce a true champion of this public service, but equally a true champion for those who serve our country, a champion of the great state of Rhode Island, Senator Jack Reed.
Good afternoon and welcome to Newport. I grew up in Cranston, Rhode Island, which is a small middle-class town south of Providence. Newport was a little too expensive for my family at the time, and nothing's changed. But I'm glad to be here and welcome you all to this beautiful, beautiful town. I want to thank Tim, thank Bob for the kind introduction, thank Tim for his great leadership in this effort. Also, the sponsors, RTX, General Dynamics, Undersea Technology Innovation Consortium, Leidos, and many others. Also, all of the staff that makes this evening possible, thank you. And especially the whole team at SENEDIA, led by Molly. Molly, thank you for what you do, what you've been doing. This is an annual gathering in which we can share ideas, coordinate, make contacts, and also show off the innovative capacity of Rhode Island and New England. And it will strengthen partnerships. It will allow companies to contact other companies and share a sense of common purpose. And it's more important today than any time in our history, I believe, that we organize our industrial base from the large primes down to the smallest subcontractors so that we have the capacity and the skill to not only be competitive with other countries, but to far outstrip them when it comes to military technology. That's the best way I know of to deter violence and war. I serve on the Senate Armed Services Committee. I'm currently the ranking member. And I also serve on the Subcommittee of Appropriations for the Department of Defense. So I spend a lot of time looking at national security issues. And we are in a very challenging world. Just a few weeks ago, our U.S. Air Force conducted extraordinarily successful strikes on Iran. I want to salute the bravery and skill of those Air Force pilots and the Navy at sea who fired missile launchers, and all of our servicemen and women. One of the things that I think unites us all and also gives us a common purpose is what you do ultimately becomes the safety and security and effectiveness of our men and women in the uniform all across the world. And this is the common purpose that we share, and it's a common purpose that is noble and in keeping with the American tradition. As I said, we conducted a recent operation in Iran, but as you look around the world, in Europe, Russia continues its war of aggression against Ukraine, hundreds of thousands of casualties, attacks on civilians. This war, we hope, will come to an end, but from my perspective, we have to stand solidly and strongly with Ukraine and create a conclusion that guarantees their security and their ability to function as a democratic society. We also know, as we look across the Pacific, that our greatest rival is really China. China has the goal and objective to replace the United States as the global leader. They want to be the global leader in commerce, in military power, in all things. That is their purpose. And the aggressive actions they've taken in Indo-Pacific underline. Last August, I was in the Philippines, and a day doesn't go by where Chinese vessels try to ram Filipino vessels, and an example of their assertion of power and their assertion of preeminence that we have to be very conscious of. And you know, they have taken off on a very intensive investment in their military. Hypersonic vehicles, advanced fighter aircraft, naval vessels, and nuclear platforms. And they have much more industrial capacity in the realm of defense than we have. And so we've got to play a little bit of catch-up, stay ahead where we are, and catch up quickly to where we must be. They have very consciously looked at how we developed our technology. In fact, they've stolen a lot of our technology. And they have, over the last 2 decades, gone from a million-person army to a very sophisticated military force and a very highly technological force. And we have to, again, outpace them, not simply keep pace with them. And so much of that comes down to what you can do for the men and women who serve and for our nation's security. One of the particular areas of interest here in Rhode Island, of course, is the submarine force and undersea warfare in general. We are, I would say, the leader in that aspect in the nation. The United States has to continue to produce on a timely way the most sophisticated submarines in the world, and then simultaneously explore and then deploy autonomous vehicles. What we're seeing in the conflict in Ukraine is drones are having an extraordinary impact on warfare. Autonomous vehicles in the air, under the sea, will probably be one of the key factors in any conflict going forward. And so we are working on that aspect too with many, very, very, very talented Rhode Island companies. We are also committed to work closely with our allies, Australia and Great Britain. AUKUS, to me, is a very important arrangement. First, it sends a signal to China that we are not alone, that we have allies. They don't have allies, they have clients. We have allies, and we have to build up our alliances. It's interesting, as I said last August, I was in South Korea, and to see the growing rapprochement, as the French would say, between South Korea and Japan is actually amazing and very beneficial for people everywhere. Australia is a strong partner. We are in the process, as you know, of producing Virginia-class submarines so that we can give 2 of our existing submarines to the Australians, while simultaneously they build their own construction facilities so that they can produce their own nuclear attack submarines. That's pillar 1. Pillar 2 is everything else we can do together, from combined training operations to electronic warfare, all of those things. And with this alliance and with our partners, we will be strengthened considerably. Now, we all know, and I've said it several times, that our industrial base has to be strengthened. And it's strengthened in many different ways. We have to make federal investments in science and technology. We can't undercut those investments. We have to reach out to small businesses that have ideas and talents but need assistance to grow, to prosper. We also have to emphasize in our school systems STEM education, because much of what you do involves STEM. And then we have to go ahead and support those agencies of the federal government that are critical to these research efforts. The Office of Naval Research, DARPA, the Naval Undersea Warfare Center here in Newport, and also agencies like DIU, the Defense Industrial Unit out in California, trying to do creative things, sort of like the private equity of the federal government. Because we're facing tremendous technological change as we speak that will shape future conflicts. Artificial intelligence, it's everywhere. And I must say, I don't think we fully comprehend how it operates and, importantly, what effects it will have. One of the best statements I had describing new breakthrough technology was, it makes good things better and bad things worse. And if we don't get ahead of AI, we're going to see a lot of bad things getting worse. We also have to understand quantum computing. We're working on that. And we're also looking at biotechnology, because some of our adversaries, like the Chinese, are spending a lot of time doing a lot of research on biotechnology. This is where, again, you, our academic partners, all of our government must come together and pool our resources to ensure that we are leading intellectually, we're leading militarily, and we are so powerful that we will not be challenged. This has been the case since World War II, and we're trying to make it the case in perpetuity. That's why this conference is so valuable. It gives, as I said initially, a chance for talented people with great ideas, with a determination to make things happen, and a profound appreciation and support for those who serve in our uniform, to come together and to build upon these relationships. This is, I think, the key to our success. Well, we've got much to do. I think you'll find these Innovation Days very refreshing, rewarding, intellectually stimulating. And my final request as a representative of the state of Rhode Island is, as you go about Newport and you see something you like, buy it. Thank you very, very much.